a world where we have everything and it's still not enough, we're often left wondering, is this really it?
Deep inside, you know there's more to life. You're ready to leave behind the old push your way through and claim the deeper, more meaningful life that's calling you.
That's what we invite you to explore with us.
We're your hosts,
Stephanie Allen
and Marin Oslak. And this is the Soulful Leader Podcast.
Yay!
Welcome to the Soulful Leader Podcast. Last year, we did interviews with our team members right at this beginning of the year to kind of hear a little bit about their prior year and maybe their upcoming years. And you all enjoyed it so much that we wanted to do it again. So we're back and we're super excited to have Dave and Lori and Angela with us. And so we've asked them to think of a couple of things that they might want to share with you. And I guess we're going to just jump in. Stephanie, did you want to share anything?
Yeah, I'm just going to say, let's just jump in. Have you ever had, I think in our trajectory of life, we keep looking forward, or at least that's kind of where I've always been trained, is that you keep seeing to what's next, what's next, what's next. And we don't often take a time just to rest and reflect and go, where have I been? What have I done? What would I like to be nourished by what I've learned from last year and where it can help me and support me in moving forward in my life? So we just thought this is a great time. And for those who are listening, you can look at your own life and go, where were you a year ago? And I don't just mean physically on the planet, but where were you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, whatever level that it is that touches your heart. And I think sometimes we don't have to take a moment to really reflect on that and then look at the space between where you were then and where you are now. And is anything different?
It's a powerful practice. So I'm going to, I'm going to do it this way. Is there anybody that wants to go first?
I'll go first.
I love it, Dave.
Yeah.
Awesome, Dave. Thank you.
Oh, I've got so many thoughts and things going through my head right now. 2025 was a crazy year for me. There were so many things up, and there were so many. I was being pulled in like 20 different directions all at the same time, and it was a very. It could have been a very stressful year, but really, I've changed who I am from a few years ago, ever since I started working on this team. And I can tell you that I like slid right through with so little grief, so little stress as a direct result of all of the things. I got family issues. My parents are getting older and such. There was all kinds of anyway, a whole laundry list of things that happened. Character building and all that stuff. But the end of the day is that I didn't really lose my composure for all of it. And so I feel this is a great way to go through life. One of the things I get to do, or my favorite thing that I get to do with this team, is I get to produce the podcasts. So I actually get to study each and every podcast that you guys record. And every single week, every single podcast, I have an aha moment. I have several aha moments. I just did 202, episode 202, and it's about sort of the fear of success, where if you do this and you become this person, then the new version of you, the improved version of you, now you got to live it. Now you got to stay there. You've set the bar higher for yourself. And a lot of people start because they think they want that, but then they get scared and they see the end of the tunnel and they go, I'm not sure. That resonated with me hugely. And I feel even things like that, there was such an aha moment for me with that. And I love how I'm embracing it rather than being afraid of it now. So I'm getting into all kinds of new fun things that have basically propelled me into that position of seeing the end of the tunnel. And I'm at that threshold where I would normally run away or cower in fear, like, oh, I don't want to be that person anymore, or I'm afraid to go there. I'm afraid to have to take on that responsibility. with great power, there's great responsibility, as you were saying in the podcast. And yeah, that's true. But I am going to be that person. I am going to go down that road because I've learned so much from you guys, just from the podcast, from studying that all the time, all the time. I can't say it enough. Go back and listen to every single podcast. There's always something in it for you. There's something in it for everybody. And
Yeah.
so I'm kind of one of the biggest fans of this the whole movement, like the whole thing. Just I love it. So I get very excited by it. And then so when you start asking questions or talking, the brain is just firing off all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you get a chance to slow everything down when you hear the podcast,
yeah,
and
yeah.
to be able to learn it at a very deep level and then to apply it to your life. And so what I'm hearing you say is like it's made like where the outer world can be really spinning chaotically, what you have found this year, that you have that center that has really kept you grounded.
That's a great way to
And
say it. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
very good way to say it.
like
Yeah,
the anchor.
yeah, yeah.
What I'm noticing is, it's like nothing happens without some sort of a practice. We want to become somebody different, and we can't just wish it and hope it into being. We do need to change something within ourselves, and that takes some sort of a practice.
Right.
Just like an athlete has a practice if they want to improve or change themselves. And it sounds like the the podcast production itself has become a practice for you.
It is totally 100%. I have a very a structured way of doing it. It sort of happened sort of organically, but I never do the whole podcast in one shot. So there's different steps that I do, but I space them out because it it it's kind of like information overload, and this way I get to digest it somewhat more slowly.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so there's the basic production of the actual podcast, but then there's the snippets and other things that I do, but I will save that for the next day or some other day. Because if I do it all at once, it kind of all gets lost. Like I'm not saying you shouldn't listen or watch the entire podcast. That's not the problem. But when you get so much information, you can only kind of digest a certain amount at a time. So this helps pace it and continue it, and I love that. Yeah.
Mm.
So
There's something called deep practice. Early in my years of being a dancer, being a dance athlete, I had a coach that had said to me, practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes permanent.
ah.
And so when you just practice without attention and intention, then it just makes whatever you're practicing constant, it makes it permanent. So another thing that I hear you talking about is deep practice, which is the aspect of like going back and reflecting. Is that what I want? Is that, so that the practice that you're doing, what you're making permanent is very intentional instead of haphazard.
Mm.
And a lot of that comes from, like I say, it actually resonates. There's things that are said that just like, oh yeah, that's it. Oh, that you said it perfectly, or that I get or I relate to, right? And I think everybody relates to most of these concepts. But when that happens, you sort of pay attention, and then you really want to sponge it up and absorb all that goodness. So and then so yeah, so then I reflect on that, and then the next day or so I'll keep going with the work, and it just feels good, right? And so you reiterate it and re-experience it and relearn it, and yeah.
I love
Right.
it.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
You're very welcome.
So what about you, Lori?
Yeah, I'm kind of like Dave. I've got a million things in my head and my heart that I could say and that I've experienced over the last year. And I think I'll start with that. This work is so nourishing. I'm able to lean into listening and, like Dave said, working with a transcript. I get to work with it as well. And I've been a part of your co-creation group for, I think it's my third year this year. And I get to learn in ways that make sense for me. The ideas and the concepts are very much in alignment with other areas of my life where I learn and I live and I practice. So coming to this is like, this is the dream team. This is who I want to be on a team with, that you can have like-minded and like-hearted conversations. And we understand, and we also seek to understand as well. So I think for me, the growth this year has been in the arena of leadership. It's been about self mastery and learning how to lead yourself so that you can lead others, and all the practices that might come with that. And Marin, you had asked a question earlier before we were recording, and one of the most amazing leadership things that has aligned for me this year is that I was able to step into a leadership role within my family. I had a lot of frustration, especially as a mom. I was trying to be a mom, I was trying to be a coach, I was trying to be a parent, and my daughter's grown. So, being a mommy isn't reasonable here at all. And I was kind of at wit's end, and I decided to step into leadership and how that might have looked different. And wouldn't you know, it was just the thing that shifted the relationship that, specifically with my daughter and my mother, I was able to, they were able to relax into who they were, because it's almost like their expectations changed, the energy changed between us. And I took on a leadership role, and it worked. They both let me in a way that I hadn't been able to get into before. So turn that work into myself, and it's been the truth for myself as well. If I'm leading myself, then I am definitely listening and talking to myself in a much soulful way.
Yeah, that inner dialogue can be a real like harassment
Yes.
if we don't create space to listen to it from a place of non-judgment inside ourselves and staying
Yes.
curious of like, oh, that's interesting. Listen to that little chucklehead inside myself going on. Like
Yes.
meaning, can I make space for it, not identify with it, but then I can also listen to it. And often the little chuckleheads inside there's a need that needs to be met, or there's a gift that it is like holding within us. But we have, as a culture, we tend to project that chucklehead out onto other people, and they become chuckleheads because they mirror back to us.
That's a new one. I hadn't heard that one yet. I heard the
Chucklehead.
itty bitty shitty committee. That's the one I always pops up for me.
Well, now you have another one called chuckleheads
Chucklehead.
that are in there. Yeah, I mean, that's what we do is in order to see ourselves, we have to look outward. That's been kind of the conditioning. It's like, you need a mirror in order to see your eyes. Can't really look at your own eyes. So what happens when we see the world as going to hell in a handbasket, or teams as not being functional or communicating or different things like that, or the leaderships in our world are imploding, then it's a chance for us to go in and find the leadership within us, not to go out and retaliate. I'm not saying that, but how are we, like you said, how are you leading yourself in the different roles that you play in your life, and having that time to just inquiry, just to say, that's interesting. Just that inquiry, that questing inside will make space. If we stay with it long enough, it actually will change and guide us. So thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing.
You're so welcome.
And I love that you applied it to a non-traditional leadership place. We always, I oftentimes, hear people, especially moms, who say, "Oh, I'm not a leader," and I'm like, "Yes, you are." First of all, there's the inner leadership that you were talking about, and it's everybody. One of the things we've said oftentimes in this podcast, if there's anybody that looks up to you, you are a leader.
Mhm.
And as a parent, and even as a child, like I know that my mom at this point has said to me multiple times, "I look up to you for this," or like roles do change and things shift. So in our families, when we can apply that to ourselves and to our families, not from a control place, from the place that you're talking about, of, like that evolution place. It can be so sweet and very empowering. Do you see it going someplace, or what's next steps for you as you look into this year?
Well, the leadership in parenting, what I'm realizing is that I think there's a big need for grown up parents. I don't know how to
Mm.
coin it quite yet, but parents of adult children who still need support. They still need guidance, and the younger generation, they're beautiful, but at the same time, they've got a lot going against them. Just being able to afford things for one thing. Uh, and I think it's tricky to still find your place as a parent. So I'd like to explore that more. I've had some real success, and I've had some success in other work that I've been doing, and friends who I've been connecting to. And I think there's something there for parenting and leadership. Yeah, I feel like I got some traction this year. Last year was a lot about growing and kind of going, I wonder. And that's how I feel being a part of this team is, I feel like there's some traction. We all have some traction together. We have something pretty special going on right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really am looking forward to hearing where that goes with you and for you. So I I can't wait till next year's team call.
When I'm telling you all about it.
Exactly. Exactly. How about you, Angela?
I guess I'm certainly in a different place this year than I was last year. Um, and I guess, turning 50 had something to do with that. But also making choices that were good ones. Like, I was working a lot, so I decided not to do that. I wanted to do things that I enjoyed doing, so I did that as well. But one thing that I struggled with was sitting with my thoughts. So the co-creation circle was really, I guess, really beneficial because there was a sense of community but and accountability, but it also taught you how to sit with yourself, doing the little meditations and how to reflect. And for me, sometimes that's really difficult because I don't want to, I guess, focus on what I'm thinking about. So when you don't want to think about your thoughts, you tend to do things that maybe aren't the best things to do for yourself. Hence now I am 12, I'm on day 12 of not drinking wine,
Yay. Congratulations.
which is really good. When you try and numb certain things, you think that it's helping and it's not. And a lot of really fascinating things that I've witnessed or that I'm witnessing within this last couple weeks is there's so much shame around, oh, you go home and you have a glass of wine, oh, you have 2 or 3 glasses of wine. And there's so much shame around that, but yet when you look at society, it's very much it comes in casual conversation quite easily. And it's always like, oh, let's go out for a drink after work, or you're going to your friend's house, let's have a glass of wine. And then before you know it, a habit can be forming. And so I was being very mindful of that and learning how to kind of, like I said, sit and reflect, which is, it's certainly a lot different. I am doing it, feeling a lot different now than I did before. Um, and it's also changing your perception of, alcohol or, and just changing your mindset. And so far I'm doing really, really well. And I have a lot more clarity.
Mm.
and I feel great. And yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing. I don't think this will be just a dry January thing. I'd like to continue it.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that consciousness, that the old habit of just going unconscious and just like, yeah, I feel like doing this. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, that you're choosing, like, uh, um, you're choosing consciously where you put your time and your energy and how you feed yourself and how you nourish yourself. And it's shifting. And that takes courage. That takes a lot of courage. And like you, like, I love when you say, I don't want to just, like, for most of us, who wants to sit and and listen to their thoughts because they're uncomfortable. So it's really easy to distract ourselves, to get on Facebook, to have a drink, to, call a friend, get busy. But what I'm hearing you saying is that in your awareness of your thoughts and sitting with it, it's actually given you some space and empowerment to make a choice that is really serving you rather
Which
than reacting.
apparently, yeah, which apparently is really, it's, well, obviously it's difficult, but you also, because apparently everything that you enjoy comes from the unconscious. And then your conscious comes in. So I've got like the two are battling right now.
Well, because
Hence
those are
drinking
the
a ton of
unconscious
water.
is, yeah, the unconscious is such those old patterns, right? That now
Yeah.
you're bringing to the consciousness is saying, yeah, no, I don't think I want to do that old pattern anymore. Not working for me. I want to choose a new pattern. Like what Maren was saying earlier about practice doesn't make perfect, it makes permanent. And now you're being conscious about what you're practicing so that
Hmm.
you can make it permanent, but it's a thing that is helpful and nourishing and good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
And I
awareness. I
think
love it.
there is a society when we're unconscious, we want to we want to be with other people who are unconscious. So it's easy to go to it. That's the everybody's, "Oh, let's go have a drink. Let's go do this. Let's go be unconscious together, right? Because then I can say, well, I'm just like everybody else. And and then we tend to discount or even demean the person who wants to be conscious of by saying, well, what, aren't we good enough for you? Or you're better than us because you're not drinking. That whole,
Or
and
you're
then we
such a
feel,
stick in the mud.
oh, you don't
You
like
don't
to
know how to
have fun.
play.
Right. All of that stuff. And then there's that, well, am I? We have to, it is kind of like Dave was saying, of that new identity of who do we want to be. And it is possible to have fun and also be conscious. And actually, I think there's a difference between joy and fun. Fun is a very surface thing, and it's not bad, wrong, or evil. It lives on the surface. Joy is that deep, like really important, the stuff that feeds our soul. And when we're unconscious, it's really difficult to feel joy.
Yeah. Well, actually, you won't because you're unconscious. You're going to be totally on the surface.
It
Whereas,
will come up sometimes, but
yeah,
we don't know how to get to it intentionally. We can't create it. We stumble upon
and we
it.
can't sustain it.
Exactly. So the process that you're in is getting you, it's saying, okay, I get that that's fun and that those are the things that I have enjoyed. And I want something more. There's something more calling me. That deeper joy is really wanting to bubble up and be a regular part of your life.
Mhm.
So congratulations. That sounds very exciting.
I
It
was,
is. And you know
yeah.
what? I didn't think I could do it. I really didn't. But, again, it's taking that time to sit with yourself and really think about, what is it that you want? And do you still want to continue doing this? And what are you getting out of it? Like you say, you're not getting any joy out of it. There's no joy whatsoever.
That
It might
temporary
be
quick
fun, like,
fix.
the
That
first
that quick
glass,
fix. Yeah.
yeah, the first glass of wine might be fabulous, but after that, it's just, it's just boom.
Yeah, you're checked out. You're checked out of life. You're checked out. It's a way to disassociate. And when you disassociate, then you don't get to the meaning, you don't get to the joy. And there's a part of you for everyone, for every one of us, there's a part of us that knows. that I've disassociated, and it wants to reassociate. It wants to come back. It wants to find that the deeper meaning and the joy.
You know,
So it's
if you're
interesting. I think it's really interesting that you're doing that because in my circle of friends, there's a lot of them that were big drinkers, and just recently, in the last probably 2 or 3 months, a lot of them have stopped drinking, either kind of like either totally, completely, or whatever. And I find that I'm hardly drinking ever anymore either, as a direct result. So my wine consumption has gone way down compared to what it was, let's say, a year ago, because there was always something going on every weekend or whatever. So, it was a social drinker, but now we socially don't drink, and it's
isn't
great.
isn't it interesting how we get influenced,
Yeah.
right? Like you're having friends who no longer drink anymore and you find yourself not drinking too. And it's like
Yeah.
we think it's these big actions that are going to change the world, but it's these little shifts inwardly
Right.
that make the big outward changes. And I love that because we do affect each other for sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
100%.
yeah.
And it's not the drinking. So it may sound like, oh, the solution to everything is to not drink or not do this or not do the other thing. It's not, that's not what this is about. It's about consciously choosing it instead of becoming unconscious and having it choose you. So
Mm,
now the alcohol or the scrolling or the whatever your friends are doing is what is running your life
Yeah.
instead of what you want and who you want to be. So when you become more conscious and you say you use that intentionality, now you're in choice. And you can choose to have a glass of wine, and maybe it's just one glass because you really enjoy that first glass. And then you say no to the next three or four where it starts to go downhill. Or maybe it's none. It just is you're in choice at that point.
it's so powerful that we're bringing this up because I'll be transparent with something with me. One of my friends, who Angela also works with, she and I were talking one day and she's like, yeah, I just gave up scrolling. I don't scroll anymore. I don't go on social media. I don't scroll. As soon as I start catching myself scrolling, I go, I'm scrolling, and I stop. And I'm like, that's brilliant. So I was on my phone the other day myself and I'm scrolling and I can hear her voice in my head. I'm scrolling. Stop it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to stop that scrolling. And it was so interesting because you know how your phone sometimes will give you an update about how many hours a day you are spending on your phone. I was on average 5.5 hours a day. Now, that's a lot for me because my hands are usually on people all day long.
Mm.
So it's not like I'm in front of a computer, sitting at a computer all the time. I'm pretty much in with people. So to have 5 hours, I'm like, wow, if I had 5 hours back a day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What would I want to invest it in? I all this, because I'll catch myself saying, oh, I don't have any time. Well, if you had 5 hours back, you'd have lots of time. You could do lots of things in 5 hours, really. So I was just kind of finding it, and Lori, you had brought that up about like parenting young adults, like adult children, and where where to step in, where to step out. And I've been really, really present to that lately too, of like there's such or what I'm experiencing. There is such a distaste to being uncomfortable in our world right now. Like I want it and I want it now. I want to feel good now. I don't want to have pain now. I want to lose the weight now. I want to have $1 million now. I want it now, 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 right? So that I was reflecting because one of the things about my 5 hours of time is that I would like to use it differently to nourish myself, eat better, sleep better, exercise, connect with friends, like use that 5 hours differently. And I was reflecting back when I was younger, a young adult myself, and I didn't have any money. I had zero money. Like I think I had $25 in order to eat a week. And I was in such wicked shape because I couldn't afford to drive. So I was walking and riding my bicycle everywhere. And I'd be like at university, so third year university kind of thing, 2021. I had to pay rent. I had to pay my phone bill, had to pay the TV, had to pay all these things. And I had left over $25. And so it's amazing when you squish it down, you say you only have this much time or this much money or this much space, how very creative you get to use that. So what I had done with that $25 is I said, okay, where can I get the most energy for the longest time for that week? How can I make that $25 stretch? And I mean, a loaf of bread, a pasta, and spaghetti sauce, no meat because you couldn't afford meat because meat would just blow your budget right off the thing. So I was like, how am I going to get protein in? How am I going to anyway? I think about that because I had to make a lot of sacrifices. I was really uncomfortable for the right reasons. And that's what I'm getting to is like, Angela, you're saying, it's at first it's uncomfortable because you're changing that pattern. And Dave, you were saying that too, like changing that pattern. First, it's uncomfortable. And Lori, same thing is like, where do I go? How do I be a leader with my family? At first, it's uncomfortable, but after a while, you go, oh, this is good. I like this. Things are opening up, things are changing, but there's that momentary uncomfortability, and it might be momentary, but it might be years momentary uncomfortability. But I think if we could inquiry, like Angela, you were saying, like just sitting with it and going, for what reason am I making this choice? What is it doing for me or not doing for me? Like, what is it that I'm really seeking? It completely changes not only the internal, but also the external. And it affects everybody. I love it. Soulful Leaders 2026.
Yeah. And I love that question. That might be a great question to end on, because what I heard when you were talking is, am I wanting to be more comfortable, or am I wanting to change something and make myself more dynamic? And they may be, I don't know, they may be, kind of two sides of the same coin. Because I know as I've gotten older and I've gotten more comfortable and I've achieved all the things, that there is that part of me that's like, ugh, it just is, it's flat. It's kind of like that third glass of wine. There isn't the joy in the comfortability because I'm not challenging myself. And so I do want to be more dynamic. And maybe just taking a peek at that for yourselves in 2026 for all of us and everyone who's listening. It's like, where it's not bad, wrong, or evil to be comfortable. And where is being comfortable actually keeping you from doing all the things and being as dynamic as you want to be? I know that's a question
Keeping you
I'll be
stuck.
looking at.
Yeah.
What's that?
Keeping you stuck. Where's being comfortable? Like just because I can spend this money, drink that drink, eat that Cinnabon, just because I can, because I can afford to, or that I can do it, is it really the best thing for me? Is there another choice I could make that would actually fill me and sustain me much longer?
Right. It's hard to be logical about it when it's all emotional. So you're not
Right.
wrong. You're 100% right. But what I find is you need to somehow, in your own psychology, connect the correct logical answer or decision with the with the emotion, so that you emotionally want to do the right thing instead of what
So say more about that, Dave. Like what you mean. Like, can you give us an example?
oh, the Cinnabon. They're
Cinnabon, okay.
calling me. I want it so bad. I want it now. And it's gonna, I can put it in the cupboard, I can put it in the fridge, it's gonna keep calling me until I eat it. you know, Except I know it's the wrong thing to do at 10 o'clock at night just before I'm gonna go to bed. So, but there it is, it's been calling me all day. I gotta go. So the thing about that is, logically it's the wrong thing to do. So that, but that's not nowhere near good enough. It's the emotion behind wanting it. And how do you deal with that? How do you
Great
connect
question.
the correct emotional, the correct logical decision with your emotions
Well,
so that
yeah, like because
you don't get overridden.
emotion is energy in motion. So if that emotion is running and you don't feel it or look at it or acknowledge it, it's gonna run you right into eating that Cinnabon right there. And I like slowing down enough to say, okay, why would I want to eat that Cinnabon? Like, what is that about? What's that? What's that going to do for me? And going even to a higher state of saying, what is it that I really, really am longing for in my life? What am I seeking? What am I like, that takes time to stop that emotion that's running you to go, stop, wait, I need to ask myself a question. And ask yourself a few questions if you can at that time. Like, what am I really seeking? Am I seeking, am I hungry? Is that why I'm going for that? Well, what am I really hungry for?
Right.
Do I feel like I just haven't given up myself enough sweetness? So this is an unauthentic way of having sweetness. It's a quick fix, but I'm going to feel like crap in about half an hour after. What would be the most loving, kind, respectful thing that I can do for myself? Those are questions and I'm not saying that it's a right or wrong thing. It's like you got to keep practicing it.
No, but
Yeah.
we all know the right. We all know the right way and the wrong way. And the wrong way isn't so bad. So whatever, one more glass of wine, one more Cinnabon, one more whatever. But we also know what else it's doing to us, the effects, the long-term effect, right? So
Yeah.
it's not what you do once in a while, it's what you're doing every day that matters. The once in a while is fine. If you know what I'm saying? So the
So
once in a
yeah.
while is fine. It's the long term. And if you know you're going to do it again tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that, and that's your pattern, that's your life.
I'm hearing the right, wrong, and
That tug
yes,
of,
we know that, yeah, that tug of war, right?
yeah.
And what if we could change the words from right or wrong to alignment? Like where am I most aligned instead of right or wrong? Because like,
Yeah.
do you know what I'm saying? Because that right, when I feel right and wrong, I'm like, now I've got like the angel and the devil on my shoulder and they're fighting with
Right.
each other.
Right.
And I'm in the middle getting a headache from them pounding each other, right? Instead
Exactly.
of saying, well, wait a minute, what's most in alignment with who I want to become and where
Right.
I want to go and what I want to be,
And
what
that's
is
what I
most in
started with.
alignment? Because that's what I'm hearing. And I'm just calling that out, Dave, because I think that's so perfect that you're bringing that up because
Yeah.
we do get caught in what's right and what's wrong and what's good and what's bad. And we get stuck there. And then that emotional train wreck gets kind of stirred up because it's like, I know it's wrong, but I'm going to do it anyway. Damn it. Because now we're going to
Yeah.
have it.
Well, that's no,
Right. Or
exactly
then,
my point. Yeah.
right. And then we do it. And then we're like, oh my God, I'm such I have zero willpower. I freaking failed. I was doing so great. And now I did. Right. And so
100%.
now you're
Exactly.
literally addicted to the emotional stuff that's going on inside yourself to
Yeah.
versus
And you
saying,
feel bad
wait a
about it.
minute, what is most in alignment? Like, I'm going to transcend. I'm going to let go of the right and wrong and just transcend it. Like, meaning go beyond that. And like, what's most in alignment? And it takes off that little fight that's going on inside myself. I make space for choice.
It really feels like it goes back to what Angela was talking about of being in choice about what you want to do instead of in reaction to
Yeah.
what's going on, right?
Mm.
And that comes from the the willingness to stop and self-reflect. It won't change automatically. You actually have to do that piece of the work. And it's really powerful when you do because then you can transcend the right and wrong and say, who do I want to be? And move into that and do the alignment thing with who you want to be.
Yeah.
So when I one of the main lessons, or I'm going to call it lesson learned, that I've gotten from the Soulful Leader Project is our self-talk. It's all about the self-talk and what's going on and what we're saying and thinking to ourselves about ourselves, right? So this is along the same lines. So the trick to nasty, negative, bad self-talk is to catch yourself and change it, right?
Mm.
It's the same thing with scrolling. It's the same thing with getting that Cinnabon, that extra thing, that whatever pie is sitting on the counter right now, the cookies and all the goodness. You have to stop yourself in that moment and have that flip the script, completely flip the script. And so instead of the negative self-talk that psychologically keeps you down or makes you feel that you're unworthy of that higher bar, you're not unworthy of thinking clearer or being more successful or taking on that challenge or being a more soulful leader. I mean, so many wonderful things that comes with being that person. And if you feel you're unworthy, or then you're not going to be able to commit to perpetuating that new reality of the new you. So perpetuation of that means you're going to consistently be that person. You're going to consistently um, stop scrolling as soon as you realize you've been, I clickbait, I'm all over this now. Get it off my phone, put it away. I want my 5 hours back. That sort of thing.
And it
So
is a process. It's a complete process. Going back to what Stephanie said, if we want the immediate and we want to say, well, I'm done with that. And then unfortunately, what ends up happening is we say, I'm done with that. And we're truly not, because it's a process. So then the minute we go backwards, we beat ourselves up and we just are like, well, and this is a perfect time of year, right? We're doing that. We set our goals and we fell off the wagon and we're like, F it completely. And we just go back to whoever we were before without realizing that it is a process.
it's the journey.
So, as you all who are listening to us are moving forward, if you'd like to contact or, have any comments about our journeys, the team, Angela and Lori and Dave, or even mine and Stephanie's, we would love to hear from you. Remember that you can find us online at the Soulful Leader Podcast. You can find our website for the project is tslp.life. And then you can find us on social, both Facebook and LinkedIn at the Soulful Leaders, plus on YouTube. So if you want to see everybody who's been chatting with you today, join us on YouTube at the Soulful Leaders. Thanks so much for joining us.
And that wraps up another episode of the Soulful Leader Podcast with your hosts, Stephanie Allen
And Maren Oslak. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to dive deeper, head over to our website at thesoulfulleaderpodcast.com.
Until next time.